Sandy, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Delighted.
I'm wondering, why did you introduce EFT into the school that you work in right now? Could you tell us a bit about that?
Why did I introduce EFT? Well, I suppose I have to start with myself because I have been on this holistic journey for the last 23 years. EFT, I would have only been introduced to it perhaps 10 years ago, but it's just a very powerful tool because I know from my own personal experience how it's helped me in my life. I wanted to share it with others. I'm very blessed that the curriculum I teach, I can get the opportunity to do it without anybody saying, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. And my principal is very open. I teach in the west of Ireland, so it's quite rural. I'm possibly the only person in Ireland. I don't know. I'd love to meet somebody else that teaches EFT. So who knows where this journey is going to go. But right now, it's wonderful to be bringing it to my kids in my classroom and to the staff.
Would you like to talk a bit about the practical kind of how-to part?
Yeah, well, it's quite interesting because I was thinking about this. I would have introduced EFT in my classroom about 4 years ago because I only came into the education system then as a late starter, as a mature student. I would have ran my own drama school before that. So the first time I introduced EFT, I was using positive affirmation cards. So what we would do, give you an example, I would get one of my students to pick a card. I'm a Louise Facilitator. So they'd pick the card and I would read the card. And this card says, I love being me. Stop trying to be normal. Be more of the real you. Show the world who you are. So I would read the card and I would say, I love being me. And the children would repeat it after me. Stop trying to be normal. Be more of the real you. Show the world who you are. And I would repeat the process and they would copy me. It was a collective group. The first group, they all did it. We all sat around in a circle and we did this every day. We picked a card. They got to pick a card, actually. Every student had the opportunity, but there was one particular boy, he loved reading and he was a beautiful reader. So he would repeat the words after me and then we would all do it together. Then I moved on and I introduced a song because they loved singing. And the song was, I am happy, I am good, I am happy, I am good. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am too. I am happy too. And they loved it, right? And so whenever anybody was stressed, let's sing our song, because you have to remember, I'm working with children with autism that would have huge anxiety. And you and I both know EFT is an amazing tool that calms the nervous system. Moving on, then with COVID hits, right? Schools shut down. I can't work in a group setting online with my children because it won't work. So I had to work individually with my students. So every morning I would connect online for 30 minutes and we would start, which was wonderful because they know I used to do this with them. So I just do the tap and the breathe first. Individually, mom and dad would be in the background. They would also do it too. So it was beautiful. They were actually learning about this journey and going, wow, oh my God, this works. It actually works. I feel better. So whilst I was doing it in school, now COVID gave me this beautiful opportunity to share it with the parents completely and do it, experience what it was about. And they realized, wow, this actually works. So we did it as a group every morning. And it was a beautiful shared experience. COVID was a blessing in disguise for me because obviously I was tapping with my students individually online and the parents were interacting too. They were tapping along. And it was really, really wonderful afterwards to hear from a mum when I had the IEP review to say her son X came home one day and said, Mum, tapping. He wanted to actually tap with his mum. Such a gift to hear this, a blessing in disguise.
And that self-awareness, because IET, if I remember correctly, in the UK stands for Independent Education Plan.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So each student has their own individual educational plan. Yeah. So I would meet and review with the parents. That was a very, very special moment, actually.
To have that self-awareness that right now tapping would help. I need to regulate, tapping would help. I remember that. And to reach out, not to be, stuck in his own anxiety, to reach out and communicate, that social skill of asking for help.
And you have to remember, this is a young teenage boy with autism. So it's even harder. It's much harder.
Wow.
So yeah.
I love it. Even adults, adults without autism struggle to communicate, to ask for help, to have that level of self-awareness and social skills to utilize, demonstrate that social skill of asking for help.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful. Yes, absolutely. Moving on, I would have gone into a new class this year. Well, last year, should I say, and they were a very different class, very high functioning, totally different, right? When I first did EFT, they thought, oh my God, this is crazy. And I thought, yeah, this is crazy, tapping on all these points. Come on. But we had fun and we joked about it. And I remember one particular boy, there was huge resistance. And I didn't force it. I have one boy still to this day in my class. He doesn't do it, but we do it as a group. And I know he is calm. He observes how the others are reacting. What we do is we would just do the tap and breathe to begin with. Sometimes I have the cards, but I get them to pick a card themselves and tap themselves with the card rather than doing it as a group. Also, I've introduced a lovely technique, which I love. So I started off today. I am grateful for I'm grateful for my health today. I'm grateful for being here. And I'd say, okay, Billy, what are you grateful for today? So we'd all tap along and Billy'd say, I'm grateful for my family. And I'd say, okay, Fred, what are you grateful for today? So we would all be tapping as everybody's speaking about what they're grateful for. I bring in positive affirmations and then I'd say, okay, what do you choose for yourself today? And I'd say, well, I choose today to have a good day. It's working on their vocal skills, on their confidence. And I said, what are you good at? And I'd say, well, I'm good at writing. I love writing. So then it's lovely to hear them talking about what they're good at because, they find it hard to express their feelings and to say, what they're good at. And I've one boy that goes, nah, I'm not. I'm like, excuse me, you're amazing. Do you know, this is my second year with them now, okay? And it's wonderful because I do it every day and to see how far they have come. This particular boy really stands out for me because he now can actually tap and say, yeah, I'm good. I'm good at history. I'm grateful for my family. That, like, it might sound huge, but can I tell you, for me as a special class teacher, it's a gift. It's a gift to hear them, tapping and using words and believing it.
Yeah, and even, in the best of circumstances, children who don't experience these learning difficulties or, any of these challenges, even the best of circumstances still struggle to say what I'm grateful for and what I'm good at. So here a child with all these challenges to reach a point where they can say that, it's huge.
Oh, it's wonderful. And that's the wonderful thing with EFT. It's a wonderful tool that you can use with other modalities. You can EFT, you can just tap and breathe. Now, I do find, I have to admit, that the tapping on the fingers can be quite challenging for them. So what I do with them, I say, look, just press gently on your thumb. And I said, you can do this discreetly under your desk. Nobody has to see you. I share my experiences. If I'm anxious, I'm going to just tap away, just tap and breathe. I am safe. I am grounded. I am calm. So I'm constantly reiterating, do this, do that. It's part of our daily practice, like brushing our teeth. It's second nature to them now. When I say, okay, guys, let's close our eyes, get into our space. The energy in the classroom is just amazing. The calmness, the quietness, the stillness, the yawning. There's so much releasing on all levels. Sneezing, itchy noses. It's fun. It's a great, great, great tool. I have to say, I love it. My kids love it. And I can't wait to actually share it with others And I'm hoping actually in the next few weeks with all the staff at lunchtime to have a space where they can come in and I can do it maybe 3 times a week. And then they can go back to their classrooms and share their experiences with obviously the pupils and just spreading this beautiful tool.
How amazing and how fortunate your colleagues in your school is and the parents there to have access to learn about this tool, which we now know has on
Yeah.
multiple biomarkers, reduces our stress response since it helps us emotionally and physically. And I'm wondering, like you already mentioned a number of outcomes here and benefits for parents and students. Is there anything else you'd like to add in terms of outcomes that you've noticed?
I just do definitely notice it has a huge impact on their mental health because, as I said to you before, they would have huge anxiety and it most definitely calms their nervous system. 100%. I've seen it. Yeah. And it's just, it's just a lovely tool. The energy, it's beautiful in the space, you know, just when we're all working as a group and we're sharing this beautiful experience. Now, I have done it on a one-to-one a little bit. I haven't explored it too much. That's something possibly I will look at doing more this year. You know, it's just to be gentle with them, gentle steps.
Thanks for all this incredible. I mean, so many tips, so many ways, you know, and I loved how you demonstrated here so we could see what it looks like when you're leading it in the class and all the tips, like not forcing any kid, you know, never forcing anyone.
Absolutely not. Never force any child ever, because they are feeling that collective energy. They're in the space, they're quiet in the space.
And it's what we know of in psychology, co-regulation, that when we're regulated, they down-regulate anyway with us, with the group, with an individual. So it's, you know, psychology, biology, mirror neurons. So, you know, their mirror neurons are firing to then also down-regulate to the groups and the teachers. So it's all having an impact, even indirectly.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap up?
I would just be encouraging everybody to do EFT. The wonderful thing with this tool, you can do it anywhere. You can do it in the shower, while the kettle is boiling, while you're out walking. It's a wonderful tool. And I have to say, it works with many wonderful modalities. So while it's great on its own, it's also something you can use with other areas as well. So don't be afraid. Spread it, spread the love, spread the EFT.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that reminder as well to integrate rather than isolate, especially for social emotional learning. There's so many ways it can be integrated into more cognitive-based social emotional learning programs, like, you know, the typical activities, the very, you know, common activity of having kids write their what I'm grateful for down in a sentence. You know, very, you know, common social emotional learning exercise. Well, that's something that can be done after doing a group exercise, for example, where you say, what am I grateful for? The way you talked about, you know, gratitude tap. So everyone then goes around and shares what they're grateful for.
Absolutely. So absolutely. It's really about being creative and just exploring how you can utilize this beautiful tool. So
wonderful. So thank you very much, Sandra.
Thank you.
Pleasure meeting you, and pleasure and learning about all these wonderful ways in which you're applying this in the classroom and the benefits it's having for your students and parents.
It's a lovely path to be on and to be sharing with others.